Hello and welcome to the Morning Skate Podcast. I am Matt Moody, joined by DJ Mitchell, as you go through the Thursday, February 5th NHL Daily Fantasy Slate. Let's get into things.
You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well, this is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.
DJ, it was a crazy day in the NHL. How is your Wednesday going? And are you looking forward to Thursday night?
Yeah, I will be live in person at the Sabres game, so that will be fun. Hopefully to watch winning teams win. We'll see, of course. They are coming off of a not so fun loss in overtime, which they probably should have lost in regulation, like all things considered, but then they almost won in regulation. It was a whole thing. I'm in a glass cage of emotion situation. But you know what? I'm excited to watch a game live, and I don't have to pay any money because it's for work, which gets into the fact that I'll probably be not so available, but I'm going to try to get bets in before I leave the office. It's going to be a bold.
It's a tough life. My biggest client is a main sponsor of the U.S. Open, and they've yet to invite me to the U.S. Open. And that
Are they aware that you would lose all your money betting on bad things, or what is it?
I mean, I've been the de facto sports guy on the team since 2017, so presumably yes.
So here's a question for everyone listening right now to think about. Yeah, it's a work-related thing. I mean, it's not like it's super duper serious. A lot of financial advisors and stuff. It's not like these people don't like to, have a beer and hang out. It's not like it's going to be formal. It's a Sabres game. But like, is it weird if I go buy a Tage Thompson USA hockey jersey? Or do you think that's like, they're going to be like, oh, this guy's kind of sick? Like, I don't know. I want one if it's there.
Are these people who often go to Sabres games? Like, why wouldn't they want to go to the store with you?
I mean, we'll probably be at the bar until puck drops. So I'll probably have to go during intermission. But like, yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Go to the
like,
store.
oh, intermission. Who wants to go down to the store? And like that's always been the excursion. Like, what else are you gonna do? Go sit in line for peanuts? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I know. I know all of them, but like to varying degrees, like of working with them. So I don't know. We'll see. It doesn't really matter, but like, it just kind of has. I have this feeling of like, someone's probably going to leave and be like, that guy, that's an interesting cat. Like, what did he just really go drop like $250? But yeah, let's get into it. Very glad Chris Drury was able to get a Harry Potter character in return for Panarin. Can't wait to be Buffalo South. So we have I have to imagine. Well, I'm talking about buying a real jersey. I'm about to drop like $250 on a jersey. It's not like I'm buying a shirt. Like, I don't know. You're right. I don't need to overthink it. But let's think about this trade for a second. Like, I mean, do you so it's like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like the Rangers are really quickly getting stuff out in the media that they had no choice in this scenario. But I always feel like you do have a choice. Of course. Like, I don't get it.
What do they care?
They'll never
year and they have 50 points in 56 games. Like, take what you can get.
I don't understand why the NHL.
It's pretty good.
The NHL is like, we are the toughest league. We are the toughest players. We're the toughest. And then the general managers do absolutely fucking nothing and are gutless cowards. Like, tell Panarin to go fuck himself. You're going where we trade you. I don't know what protection he had exactly. I believe there was some
full trade protection. He could just say no.
So we had full trade protection. So like, again, like, don't give him that. Like, I don't understand. The Rangers, when they signed him, were like, we might be tanking, and they're like, I guess never mind. Don't give him full trade protection. He was signing with you no matter what.
I mean, Liam Greentree's is pretty good, and
yeah, he's a.
Well, I don't know why the Kings did this. They suck. Their coach sucks.
And I on the other side,
Panarin adds nothing to this team. Like, he's a good player, but they have Kevin Fiala and Adrian Kempe to handle the puck. That's not the problem. Like, the problem is the coach and the fact that they can't score. And like, I don't know, is Panarin all of a sudden going to make the team magically score? Like, I don't see Zibanejad, Trocheck on this Kings roster. Like,
you were. Jumping to the next part of this, which is I also do not understand it from the Kings side, other than it's like, Artemi Panarin wants to go play for your team. Are you not going to give up? Not that much. I mean, it's not a ton. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of prospects that don't work out, and this could be one of them. It might be one that plays in the NHL and is a factor. I think most prospect people feel like he's a guy. What does that lead to? It's hard to say, but yeah, I mean, if this doesn't work and quickly, Jim Hiller needs to be sent into the stratosphere. I don't. Yeah, I gotta think it's not what the Kings really need, but if you replace player X with Artemi Panarin, you're probably getting better as a hockey club. So we'll see. But all of this to probably get bounced in the first round, and I don't know. Anything else you want to say on the Kings, or you want to get to trade number 2 today?
I mean, we have the Kings later on the slate, so we can talk about them later.
Yeah. What are the Devils doing? Like, what was the point?
Getting a center. I mean, that's truly a trade. Like, who cares? It's a 4th and Thomas Bordelot, and Bordelot's like 25 by now. Like, it's not. I mean, he was a dude in the past, but like, I don't think that matters whatsoever.
I agree.
He's
24. It doesn't matter, but it's just like I don't. 24.
But
there's not a guy in Utica you couldn't call up to fucking play, like give him a shot. You have to go out and get Nick Bukestad. Like, it just
considering Luke Glendening is on this roster, I'm gonna guess they've already exhausted all of those options.
Yeah, old Fitzy not getting the job done. All right. Well, anything else you want to say before we get into the games, or
no?
I feel like this could be a relatively quick podcast.
I sure hope it is. Yeah, we have 7 games here. We'll obviously get into the Kings configuration and whatnot later. Forewarning, I don't have anything updated. So if something's happened the last 2 days or since the last time the team was on the slate, I will be updating that on the fly. So do not get angry at me. It's been a long week.
We already got Shams. We got Shams in the chat. Shams will be here to help us.
Beautiful.
He'll keep us going along the way.
Third member. He's the Phantom Doug at this point. Doug got us going off the ground, but now in order to fly, we need a Shams to repair the plane as it's in the air. All right. So let's share this. 7 games, like you mentioned, leading things off is Pittsburgh heading into Buffalo. The Islanders and New Jersey face off. Andre Palat revenge anybody? Carolina at the Rangers. The Rangers, presumably the building will not be burned down by their fans, but no promises. Ottawa at Philly. Claude Giroux being a potential guy that Philly media is now talking about when they're not breathlessly talking about Rick Tocchet and Matvei Michkov. Nashville at Washington. Philip Forsberg, of course. It's not a Tuesday, though, so TBD on what to expect there. Florida at Tampa in what has got to be the weirdest time to ever put the Battle of Florida. Not only is this directly after the outdoor game in Tampa, but it's also the game before the Olympics where all of these teams, these teams, every player on these teams is going to the Olympics. Like, that's so like, what the hell? What are we doing? And then LA at Vegas with Panarin. What are you trying to do?
Move this in a little bit. Move my table closer to myself. I probably should have muted myself if it made a noise. Yeah, it's a weird slate. There's a couple games I think that stand out pretty dramatically, but a lot of back-to-backs. Yes, I read PJ. You don't need to put up the stone. You know what? We're not reading that out loud. If you're listening to the podcast, you're going to want to just go. We're going to share it for 3, 2, 1. Okay. Go check out his comment if you wish on the YouTube. That is either of our YouTubes. It's posted to both of them. You know where to find it by now. If you don't, figure it the fuck out. I don't know. We've said it 700 times, and we'll say it, I'm sure, before the end of the show. But yeah, I will be at Pittsburgh and Buffalo. That will be a game, I think, that is coveted on both sides. There is plenty of reason to believe there could be goals in this game. The Sabres have looked a bit leakier defensively and getting bailed out by goaltending. Of course, that comes largely on back-to-backs and long road trips, and every team is dealing with it, but the Sabres feel like lately they've been a little bit leakier than most. And Pittsburgh is, got Russ back in the lineup. What was the final there? They lost in OT. I was going to say, I remember it going to overtime. I don't remember who won. 5-4 to the Islanders. It kind of feels like two teams that are finding ways to score and also not really playing great defensively. So this game does look like the clear best matchup of the night. Raquel, Crosby, Rust, Malkin's playing out of his mind still at 6,200. Erik Karlsson has not played great, but 4,900. Of course, you can mix him in. Top power play. Chinikov's been a favorite for all. He's not in the top power play anymore. Gets a little bit worse. And a fully correlated line 3 power play 2, Mantha, Kindle, and Brazeau. That's been just fine all year. It's just gotten more expensive as time's gone on. So I feel like Pittsburgh's expensive comparatively to what you normally get. But in this matchup on this slate with this many back-to-backs, does that make you feel any sort of way?
Someone in maybe it was Tart or someone in the Discord was talking about Mantha when he scored on Tuesday, and his run of form is pretty ridiculous. One, he has 41 points in 55 games on the year, which is crazy. He's a 20 goal scorer in 2026, so that's pretty fascinating. But lately, we're looking at just, 7 games or so. It's 14, 1.5, 22, 5, 26, 26, and 13. So he's been productive. That's third line role, yes, but the expecteds sort of match the price. That's a 12K line with 25 expected fantasy points and 28 actual. So I don't hate the idea. It's obviously a appealing game environment. Like you mentioned, the Sabres they've been playing fun hockey. I mean, the expected goals are the expected goals. They certainly don't look like they're playing pond hockey necessarily, but they're playing with a lot of tempo, and they are getting excellent goaltending, so can't really dispute that. I still think I would just go to the top line if I really wanted to buy on this game. It's still fully correlated, 20K. They were less than, I think, 3% last slate, and that was against the Islanders. Maybe there's a little bit of a difference, but these guys clearly have a massive ceiling, and it's perfectly correlated. You can picture exactly how it works too. It's not like this is a team where Sid's double shifting with Brazeau and Mantha for half the game, like a McDavid situation or something. It's these 3 dudes. So I think that's a really strong play. But otherwise, Erik Karlsson's had a better game against the Islanders. I did go there personally in my lineup, but nothing special as of late. He's been actively pretty bad.
It's
anything else?
It's really hard to afford Penguins one with the other potential chalky pieces on this slate. And I just think they're going to end up being less known than you'd think, given the matchup, given how good they've been, given the correlation. It's just the Buffalo effect might be somewhat here. I don't know if people are just like, well, the Sabres win and they're not giving up goals in bunches, but that ball could break at any point. It's the last game before a long break, and injuries are starting to mount. So we'll see what happens here. On the Buffalo side, there are some things to keep an eye on tomorrow. There's, we're not updated fully, but there's a lot of information we don't know. There was a couple, I'd say, semi-surprise scratches last game. Michael Kessering being one of them. Could be back. He's minimum salary. Does that do anything for you? Probably not. But keep an eye on that, because that definitely boosted the minutes again for Dahlin, Samuelsson, Byram, and Power, who are just out there all game long. Dahlin doesn't instinctually get by anybody here. He's been fantastic at 6,500. I think he's just a pivotal piece of this Sabres, any Sabres build you have. Zach Benson, less of a surprise, but I would say more unlikely to miss than Kesselring in this game. Day-to-day news kind of slow to get out. I'd be a bit surprised. It seemed like a collarbone, neck, shoulder type of injury that he tried to come back. He just couldn't go. I'd be I'm pretty surprised to see that happen. And then there's a chance that Josh Norris comes off IR and plays. Again, be pretty surprised to take him back for the one game before break. You think you just let him rest through it at this point. But again, a lot of question marks. But if this is the lineup, and we'll keep Benson and Kessering in there now if you're watching this. But if the lineup they ran last game is the lineup they're running again, I think the biggest boon is Jack Quinn, who saw 18 minutes, a lot of offensive opportunity. Of course, the power play 3,800 just feels crazily too cheap. McLeod and Zucker, you're getting 2 power play 1 guys, and it's more expensive than Pittsburgh 3, but not by as much as you'd think. And you can correlate that with Dahlin, no problem. So will that be somewhat popular as like the de facto line 2? Maybe. What do you think?
Yeah, I would expect Jack Quinn to get ownership. The less than 4K range, I don't think there's a ton on offer elsewhere, so that will certainly project well, I imagine. And the fact that the team also, like Tage, I think he was 10% against either Florida or Tampa. Like the field is very into Tage Thompson. It's not like he's 8,400 and everyone's like, well, no way, I'm not doing that. Like, he's been good enough to warrant the price, obviously, and the field is clicking him somewhat fairly often. Alex Tuch's been very good. He's not on the top power play, but I mean, he played 23 minutes last game for a forward. That is pretty ridiculous for 5,600. He's got the underlying profile. He's got the actual fantasy point production as of late. So I think Alex Tuch at 5,600 should not be overlooked if you're playing Tage.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people will go Tage Quinn, and why not just either throw Tuch in or replace Quinn with Tuch to get a little bit of a different texture. The guy I was going to ask you about is Matthias Samuelsson. He's 4K. The dude scored 2 goals last game, but he's been up in the offense. He's been shooting a bunch. He's got 8 expected fantasy points per game over the last 10, which doesn't credit him for goals. Basically, he gets shot attempts, primary points or primary assists, like blocks, like he's doing stuff on the ice that warrants a 4K price tag. Are you buying the Matthias Samuelsson experience in Buffalo?
I'm buying that he's a decent player. I mean, again, it's like I think everybody, when they signed him to the contract he's on right now, was sort of like, it's a bit risky, but he's definitely looked the part early on. Injuries plagued him. Nobody thought it was going to come out and be, 11 goals, 23 assists in 54 games. But 4K is a warranted price, especially if Kessel rings out. I mean, he's just going to see enough minutes to make it invaluable enough. He's not getting power play run, but like he's one of the, I mean, it's Dahlin and then him and Byram over the boards in OT. Like this is the second guy, just without a doubt. And he is shooting and blocking and doing, he's killing penalties. Like that he is the number 1 penalty kill guy. You can make an easy case to fit him in. I just think that I'm not getting that cute with it. I'd rather just find the money for Dahlin, but maybe both. I mean, that's not even the dumbest idea I think you could have. Like Dahlin and him are glued at 5-on-5, more or less. I mean, but like Dahlin, I mean, they could play with anybody for a short stint, but like both Samuelsson goals, Dahlin was on the ice for. So,
all right. I think that's enough Sabres discussion. The next game up is the Islanders at New Jersey. This is what I think this is what the Islanders ran last game. It looks right. I don't see a practice from Wednesday, so expecting something similar to this. Palat, Horvat, Barzal being the main point of interest. Are you looking at something?
No, Palat just played a lot less minutes than Horvat and Barzal, and like
big surprise.
I think some run with Horvat and Barzal. I was trying to look at the line chart, and then my eye was itching.
Yeah, this all looks right. So anyway, Palat, Horvat, Barzal.
To the top line. It looks like actually in the third.
Let's just say Heineman, Druin, Holmstrom, Lee, Pasho, Duclair, McLean, Zizekas. Actually, Duclair either got benched or hurt, so we could see another guy come in. I do think that Horvat, Barzal are overpriced still. They had great games against Pittsburgh, so that recency bias could weigh in, but they are a combined 13.5K. And over their last 10, they have a combined 17.4 expected fantasy points. That is nowhere near good enough. And the actuals are only slightly better at 20. This team hasn't scored much. Hard for me to watch that game against Pittsburgh and say that wasn't just Stu Skinner having a fucking god awful game. Like I truly don't know what is in his head sometimes. He does this all the time. It's the Edmonton thing. 80% of the time he was a good NHL goalie. It's not like he was average. He was good, but it was the 20% that he's so bad that it just is unsurvivable. And I think that's what the Islanders ran into last game. Otherwise, they've been playing pretty poorly. So I'm not a big fan of this game, but anything from you on the Islanders side?
I'm somewhat. I think it, like, again, if they go to the Holmstrom on the top line, I just think he's stickier than Palat as far as getting run. Like, that's the third most used forward. Power play one as well, kills penalties. If that is what it is, I might throw him in, but I probably just leave. If I'm playing them, it's just Horvat, Barzal, Schaefer. Like, I'm not getting cute here. The Devils are bad, but I don't think they're like, I don't think you need to go to the dregs of society and start clicking on like, Drouin and shit like that. Like, if Heineman's on the top line too, like, maybe throw him in the mix, but he lost the top power play role, and it feels like a very clear 1 and 2 with Barzal, Horvat, and Schaefer on one unit and the other unit barely playing. So I just don't think there's a reason to think like there's value in this game. It's the top guys are nothing, and they've come down in price. Like, we were talking about Horvat being like one of the tougher clicks because he was 8K. Well, now he's 7,100. Like, you can afford that, and he has that upside. So it's just Horvat, Barzal, and maybe one more piece, and it's probably Schaefer. I think he's tougher to click, but doing everything right now that you'd want from an upside perspective. I mean, he has all the offensive ability in the world. He has some blocks bonuses in the mix. We know he'll shoot when given the opportunity. So I don't hate the idea of going with that. It's a bit, upper mid tier, but it's playable.
All right. On the Devils side, last game, how did that go last game for these guys, DJ? Any takes there?
I gotta tell you, I expected them to be played. I did not expect them to be 20%. And it just is the same story every fucking time. You play, you watch Dougie Hamilton put a bunch of fucking weak wristers on the goalie. You watch, everything Timo Meier tries to do not work. And you watch a bunch of guys that are bad at hockey continue to be bad at hockey. And like, I don't know. There's just no fixing this team. It's just a bad team that stinks. They're a stinky team that stinks, and they can't score. Timo, 5 shots on goal. Connor Brown.
What if I told you
time on ice?
Nick Bjugstad in the mix now.
Over Tipsikoff revenge narrative?
Then you're good point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You're really going to do that?
I don't know.
Hopefully Glendening, because that guy unplayable nonsense. But I don't know. I mean, the thing about this team is it's not even like there's an option to get, I don't know, crazy, because the most expensive player is Nico Hischier, who you don't need to click on at 6,100. Timo Meier has the upside that you're looking for. Yeah. Glass has been very good, but not getting any power play run for God knows what reason. They're like, we got to be playing with actually made up players over him on the second power play, because who fucking knows?
They somehow they lost 3-0 the third period goals, and Glass played with Timo and Connor Brown, and Glass was even, and these two were -2. So,
because they decided it was Nico Hischier time and not Glass anymore, because
obviously,
and it didn't work. Shocker. I think the funniest part about this is the fact that they wouldn't trade Dawson Mercer to get Quinn Hughes, and Dawson Mercer played 12 minutes. Didn't get power play run. I mean, just dire fucking straits. And like, awesome. The thing about this Devils team, really, but why I'm probably not playing the Islanders, is like, they're good defensively. Like, they're not even that bad. They have, Dougie, Pesci, Nemec, Dylan, Siegenthaler, and Kolfasevich. Like, they're fine defensively. The goaltending is who gives a shit, whatever. They just can't score. Like, this game is going to be boring. It's going to stink. I'm not going back to the well here on the Devils, but I understand that Connor Brown at 3,500 and Timo Meier at 5,700 and, Glass at 3.33 and Dougie Hamilton shooting, I don't know now, of the last 5 games, 10.2 shot attempts per game is intriguing, but expected fantasy points need to, at any point in time, lead to real fantasy points for you to win any money. So
let me write that down.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I'd write it down. Fuck me,
right.
Fuck the Devils, man. All I gotta say.
Well said. Carolina heads into MSG. The fire jury chants are going to be insane. I very much look forward to this game just from a pure spectacle standpoint. Carolina, anti-Carolina'd against Ottawa, where Ottawa sort of Carolina'd. I think Carolina scored 4 goals on 18 shots. Ottawa controlled play for the majority of that game on a back-to-back on the road. Yet Carolina pulled it off thanks to Jordan Staal and I think Aho maybe scored twice, or someone on the top line did. In any case, Carolina has very clear power play one interesting players, I guess I should say. And if I'm going to play dudes who have lackluster expected fantasy point numbers like Horvat, Barzal, I do think I'm going Aho, Svechnikov, Jarvis, even though it's obviously going to be more owned than that trio or that duo at the very least. I think I touted Svechnikov and he was like the guy who didn't get there or something. So shout out to me for that. But Jordan Staal scored on a breakaway. That was one of the funniest things. It was one of the most confusing things actually for a minute, because it was like a normal dump out the center ice, and then all of a sudden Jordan Staal is walking in on a breakaway the other way. Because everyone decided to change at the exact same time in the third period of a tie game. Yes, I played James Reimer, and no, I did not live to tell the tale. But it's okay. My team was dog shit anyway. Nick Ehlers at 5,400, the classic on and off trade-off with Jordan Staal. If you play the two, you get a nice little 5-on-5 stack for 9K. Jordan Stahl's been productive and shooting even when he's not scoring. And Nick Ehlers has been one of their better rate players on the season. You know, has anyone heard of that before? Nick Ehlers playing on the third line, having great rate stats. I think that's interesting because this Rangers team is terrible. They're horrible. Yeah. They're deplorable. I don't know. You could say many words about them, but certainly the third line on the road will not be getting the toughest of matchups that the Rangers have to offer. So any interest from you here, and where would you go?
Yeah, I mean, you started this off by saying like Carolina had a very un-Carolina game, and on the other hand, Ottawa had the most Ottawa game of all time of getting up, you know, completely smothering another team at 5-on-5 and still finding a way to lose in regulation by giving up 4 goals when you thought that could not possibly happen given how good they played. But that is what happens. Luckily for Carolina, they do not play Ottawa again. They play, as you mentioned, probably the worst team in the East. I think that's not even.
They are by far at all. Stats wise.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's really that close. Like you could try to argue. There's a couple teams that are pretty bad, but like, yeah, that just feels like that's the case. It's been a bit more publicly put out there, and we talk about it all the time that like nobody shoots on Carolina, everybody shoots, and now people are like, wow, you know, Sean Walker like leads the Hurricanes in shot attempts, and I'm like, yeah, I say it every fucking twice a week, basically. So yeah, I knew that. Yeah. I didn't know everyone else wasn't talking about this too. I thought maybe people also are losers that have no friends other than Matt and talk about this nonstop. But one player that does shoot, Shane Gostisbehere. And that's a guy that I would very much include in my lineup. 5,300, just like play him no matter what. I think it's top line or bust for me, and I almost never play the top line. I mean, did I make Sebastian Bajo the cover boy? Sure did, but I don't know. Just what are you going to do? He scored three games in a row and had 3 points against Ottawa, so I thought he deserved his flowers, but I probably don't do it. I think it's going to be played. Like people are incredibly low on the Rangers, including us, but I don't think I'm low on the Rangers in a way that I feel like Carolina's going to, you know, put the slate to bed. They never do. No matter who they play, no matter what happens, they don't put the slate to bed. And it's the closest they've been is in a game that they were fucking terrible against Ottawa. So
yes, Seth Jarvis did the classic Seth Jarvis stealing game where he scored 24 DK points. He scored twice, but couldn't get a bonus. Just classic Seth Jarvis stuff where if 25 is his literal ceiling, it's really hard to, you know, say that, oh, he's a win condition on this slate. With 7 games, it's possible that 25 is, you know, from him's in the winner, no sweat. But I don't know. I certainly have my hesitation and would prefer to be cheaper honestly, on Carolina, if anything.
I think cheaper too. And like even with cheaper, I think it's still with Gostisbehere. But do you think that any differently there? Are you at all interested in punting defense on Carolina and trying to see if you can live to tell the tale? I mean, Nick Kishin's getting less minutes, but power play too, and then not punting defense, of course, Gostisbehere, but they do play Slavin, Walker, Miller, Chatfield quite a bit. Do any of them interest you at all, or is that just fancy play? quite unnecessary. Okay, perfect.
I understand, like, they're cheap and play minutes, that any defenseman can theoretically get there, but none of those dudes are really for me.
Well, I guess no revenge narrative, Keandre Miller for you.
2,900. I understand. You know, the vibes are immaculate relative to the Rangers. So, that would be a nice nail in the coffin if he scored the game winner or something. Let's go to the Rangers. Fucking Rangers. Last time we saw them.
Are you playing them?
Last time we saw them, they played a pretty spirited game against Pittsburgh. They came back from like 4 goals down, I think, to maybe tie it, or basically they made the third period a sweat and lost 6-5. So their lines that game were Cooley, Trocheck, Lafreniere. Okay, great. Miller's Zibanejad, Perreault. Okay, perfect. Brodzinski, Carrick, Rempe. Oh my god. And then Oathman, Noah Leva, I think, got hurt, and Taylor Radish.
Yeah.
So the lines were all, somewhat up to snuff. I know we saw power play stuff, so let me actually pull that up if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about. No.
Wait,
okay.
what?
No, I was just leaving it open for you if you had something to add, because obviously Rangers Twitter right now is a tire fire.
No, you can't find anything. I mean, they had lines. I did retweet them earlier, but I don't remember what they were. They were bad.
Lines look like this, and I know there's power play information somewhere.
I think it's what you have. Was it not Cooley though, and was it Lafreniere?
I think so. I think we saw it in practice. I know we saw it because it's like Morrow is out and Schneider's on the power play, but I can't find it. So I'm just gonna change it.
You're just
100% sure I saw this.
I am very, very, very much not going to be playing the Rangers tomorrow, and I promise I'll live to tell the tale. They've been getting more expensive because a lot of these players are just getting bigger roles, but they're not doing anything with them. Like, there's not like even a clear punt here. I mean, maybe it's Lafreniere, and he did have the the blow up spot 31 against Pittsburgh, but they're not in Pittsburgh anymore. I don't know. It's probably Lafreniere if you're going to do it. Are you stacking that? I just don't think Trocheck and Cooley are going to move the needle against Carolina. But again, revenge narrative, Vinny Trocheck. I mean, never mind. I'm back.
Okay, hear me out. What if Jacob Slavin wants his American counterparts to have some confidence going into the Olympics, and he says, "Hey guys, take a dive for me here."
Could be. It's possible. Okay. Yeah, I do not like this Rangers side. They're playing against quite a tough defensive opponent with Carolina at largely full health, and I do not see anybody here that's going to break the slate. The next game, Ottawa, Philly. I've continued to, I think, gush and granny a bit over Ottawa and like a lot of what they're doing. It's just tough to find the right mix for them that feels the most comfortable. Like Brady, Cousins, Grieg, is it Greg? Why am I blanking? Grieg, Greg?
I think it's Greg. I don't recall. Greg. No, trying to listen. I'm trying to listen to their play-by-play in my head, and I can't even picture it. So
I think it's Greg. And then Batherson, Stützle, Giroux. Giroux's the revenge narrative. Some nights it feels like the Batherson, Stützle, Giroux is just clicking on all cylinders to clear number one. It's everything you want and more. Some nights it feels like how could you not play Brady Tkachuk? He had 9 shot attempts, stuffs one through the goalie's pads because he's just standing there in front of the net, and Dylan Cousins is also doing the shooting thing. All of it sort of quarterbacked by Jake Sanderson, who 6,100 is a play. I mean, he's a guy that shoots and blocks and plays a million minutes, and you can do whatever you want with. But I worry that, I think Philly is just kind of decent as well, and that these prices are not great. Like, it's not cheap enough in Ottawa for me to really want to sink my teeth into anything, but could you convince me otherwise? I mean, I think it's Brady or nothing in DFS. But what do you think?
Yeah, the the shot attempt pace in this game looks rather rough. But that's been the case with a lot of Ottawa games because of the style they play with. And I wouldn't necessarily say that that Philly is like a tremendously difficult matchup. Brady Tkachuk is 7,500 does feel like an almost mispricing. There's a few guys in that range on this slate who are interesting to me, but I honestly think Brady might stand out above them. Just at a glance, we're talking Forsberg at 74, Mark Stone 72, Reinhart 7, Hagel 79, and then at center we have Horvat and Aho in the 7Ks. Yossi at 73 at defense, and Brady Tkachuk feels like a better fantasy asset than almost all of them. We'll talk about Nashville in a minute. I like those guys a whole hell of a lot personally, but I think it's inarguable that Brady Tkachuk's a better fantasy asset, pound for pound than either of those guys, and they're all the same price. So I think Tkachuk's pretty interesting with that in mind.
Yeah.
I'm almost thinking a Stutz like Tkachuk, just alphas, mini stack, and just these are where the goals will come from. I don't want to play Greg, Cousins, Batherson, Giroux, roulette. I'm keeping that in mind because I do feel like that Brady piece is something to build around.
Yeah, I agree. I really like that singular play, and I honestly think you could just one-off it as well. So, all right, let's talk about Philly quick. I mean, Philly has interesting lines. They're not what you had on the screen right now. And coming off of a win, I assume they'll stick with what they had before. They were Dvorak, Konechny, Gurbankin, Michkov, Cates, Brink, and then Zegras, Tippett, and they went to Couturier in that game. And I think that's probably what the plan is. Barkey, Delorier, and Gunderstrom ended up being the de facto fourth line. Dvorak, Konechny, Brink.
Hold on, I have a tweet that I'm looking at that's not actual line combinations, but it's from practice today. So I just want to feel this one out. Hathaway's on the fourth line with Couturier and Grundstrom, and Nick Delorier was a extra serving as a placeholder for Konechny. So does that?
Yeah, the coach said afterwards Konechny is battling through injuries, and it's like anyone with eyes could tell you that.
Yeah.
Thank you for speaking on it. Yeah, I mean, Konechny, what does he do? 0 shots, 2 assists, plays 20 minutes, but he is not 100%. That is certainly the case, but continues to produce fantasy points. I'm a sucker for Owen Tippett, sub 5K. I don't hate it. The minutes aren't the best in the world, but he is a game breaker. He is a rate shooter. He is their best goal scorer. All that being said, I'm not touching Philly against Ottawa, and I think I'll live to tell the tale. These first 4 games, I'm really not that. This is the worst of the games, and a spot that I'm probably the least interested in, other than maybe the Rangers.
Yeah, I mean the bullying of Tocchet resulted in 16 minutes for Michkov. Have to imagine that part of Danny Briere stepping in before the game and trying to, quell things was because the front office realizes that this is untenable and that the fans are going to have an open revolt against Tocchet if that doesn't change quick. So Michkov at 4,100 is fairly interesting if you're talking about a player who doesn't need volume to generate offense against Ottawa. Like Michkov certainly has the skill to take advantage of any chances that he gets. So playing with Noah Cates is a bit rough. Cates has been in a huge slump offensively, but Bobby Brink is fine. And so I certainly don't think I'm playing Michkov, but if I'm playing Ottawa and I want to make it a game stack of sorts, I think Michkov is comparable to, Batherson, Giroux, Greg type for a similar price. Obviously he's a bit less expensive than Drake Batherson. 1,000 less specifically if you're not staring at salaries and have them downloaded into your brain at this point. Otherwise, nothing on defense is remotely interesting. Cam York's been priced up for his recent run of form, and I don't necessarily think that's sustainable. And Jamie Drysdale's 3,700. And while I like the player, I would want Michkov to be on the top power play unit for me to really take it seriously. So I want to get to Nashville. Anything else you have to say about Philly?
Let's get to Nashville.
All right, Nashville at Washington by the Rainbow chart looks like one of the games of the year.
Yes.
A 6.9 expected goals pace between these two teams.
Nice.
They're just giving it up defensively. They're generating a ton offensively. The shot attempts are high, and they're actually scoring as well. Especially Nashville's allowing some goals as of late because UC Saros is crumbling under the pressure of facing a million shots a game. So obviously Nashville is playing in a few minutes here, and then they travel. So we're not 100% certain what their lineup will look like. So take this with a huge grain of salt. I think Marchessault worked in officially to the top 6, but just note that Nashville does rotate their top 7 forwards a ton. So I do really think that Nashville is a great spot to get, a couple pieces, 3 pieces, including Roman Josi or something like that, to just build around the best plays, basically. So I think that I'm fairly into Nashville. I slightly prefer the Washington side, but anyone on Nashville stand out to you? Because I think I can make a case for any guy you don't mention.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, there's Forsberg, Stamkos, Evangelista, Marchessault now top power play over Evangelista, and then there's Ryan O'Reilly that are going to see the lion's share of the minutes, the lion's share of the offensive opportunity, and they're going to be kind of rotating through. The goals came, 6 goals came during Evangelista's time on the ice. He ended up as I believe, break-even 0, 3-4, 3 against. 6 goals came while Josi and Shea were on the ice. They actually finished, I believe, a +1 in the 11-goal affair, but that's where all the goals are happening. That's what on the offense is happening. I could see any of these bunches together. I like playing Stamkos. I like playing Marchessault, and I like playing Forsberg. Those are the guys I think for me, and then Josi as well. I could definitely see a lineup kind of with all 4 of them in it. No centers, so you're going to have to get queued elsewhere, but maybe you make it a game stack and you just say that this game is a donkey fest and should continue to be a donkey fest. But both these teams continue to play. So anything else you like here more than anything? And then the next guy.
Yeah. I think Forsberg and Marchessault is incredibly appealing at 11.4K for that twosome. They're averaging nearly 25 expected fantasy points between the two. Forsberg's on a tear right now, almost 15 DK points a night over the last 10. Roman Josi is the best D option on the board. I mean, is that even... Darren Radish is there, Dahlin is there, Chikrin, Sanderson, Schaefer, sure. But Yossi's in tremendous form right now. This is almost exactly what you would expect, considering he missed a huge chunk of last year and had to basically play himself into shape from the sounds of what his offseason was like. So the fact that he's now peaking at Olympics time also fits the narrative of exactly what you would think he's looking for personally. So I think Roman Josi's in a great spot once again here. And yeah, it's expensive, but there are some cheaper guys on Washington that I like building around. And so yeah, give me Forsberg and Marchessault as like my primary pieces, but I don't mind even the third line. Bunting and McCarron both play a ton. Well, McCarron plays a lot. Bunting, I don't know. We'll see in this new role, but Bunting's expected output is basically Timo. 12.3 expected fantasy points per game last 10, only 7 actual, but at 3,200, like hell, that's a pretty good number, to start anyway. So I like Nashville a lot. Let's get to the Washington side where I guess we don't. Well, Washington's also a tire fire because all of their beat writers got fired. So that's tough, but I don't know if we have lines from today. Amidst the Washington Post nonsense?
I did not know any of that. So,
okay.
Well, probably not. It's, I mean, a lot of, like, if you're watching this right now, you'll see a lot of blue on the screen because a lot of players are producing at kind of a high expected rate. They're trailing a lot in games and they're losing a lot in games. So there's certainly there's upside here. There's some level of it. I definitely struggle as well to know, like, well, what do you play to win? I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think I could be convinced of just about anything. This isn't what they ran last game, so you're kind of projecting a change, I guess.
Well, I mean, this is what they had to start last game, and then they switched centers.
They went, Strome, Wilson, Protas.
Yeah,
I feel like that's where I want to go, but I don't fucking know.
Yeah. The bars between Strome and Wilson and Strome and Ovi are the exact same size, but here's DJ going, actually, like, okay. We get it, bud.
I don't think I'm going to end up with...
We get it. You can read in a straight line. Very cool stuff.
Barely. Okay. I like the Nashville side more, so I don't know how I'm fitting Washington exactly.
Justin Sordiff continues to produce. He is 4,300 playing pretty much a regular shift in the top 6 now. 17, 18 minutes a night for 4,300 against Nashville on a back-to-back at home with whoever on his wing. Feels really good to me. He's just, I mean, again, Washington does a 1A, 1B type power play where it's a minute and then Ovi stays and the other guys come on. And Sordiff has been basically the first guy in that second unit. So that's reassuring. Strome is fine also at center, 5,800. Like, I'd prefer saving 1,500 though. So if Sordiff is playing with Ovi, that sort of answers my question of like what to do, because Tom Wilson's honestly been their least like reliable forward as of late. He's just not really shooting much. And it's hard to know whether that's injury or what. So if it is Sordiff and Ovi, that's for sure my first spot that I'm basically checking when I'm building my lineup. And then if it's Protas and Wilson, I actually do like Protas a whole lot. Like, Protas has been awesome, and no power play time is really tough. But again, this line combination has been so dominant that Protas is still producing at 5-on-5, and now he's shooting lately. He's taking the puck, lugging into the zone, and actually firing pucks on net, and kills penalties and everything else. So empty net, like all that stuff is in the cards for Protas. And so building around Justin Sordiff was not something that I thought I would be doing in October. But here we are. The Caps have done it again.
They've done everything but win games, that's for sure. And it is Nashville on a back-to-back against, on the road. Wait, are they going from... They got to be in Nashville, I guess. There's no way they're in Minnesota going to Washington, right? Whatever.
They are at home and then DC.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, are you still chickering here?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned I like Yossi better, so I don't think I'm finding room for both of these guys. But if it works, no problem with it for sure.
All right. Yeah, no, I think you know what? I kind of forgot about the back-to-back nature of Nashville, and maybe there's something to this Capitals team. I definitely want to see what the lines are tomorrow and maybe build from there. The Sordiff Ovi thing actually does, if that is what they did, that's what they did last game. If that's what they go to. I'd be interested there. But let's talk about Florida on a back-to-back after Vomanis murdered Charlie McAvoy. And now will be, go 1, 2, 3. There's 7, 8 guys now going to the Olympics the next day. Will they be phoning it in early against Tampa in the Battle of Florida?
Let's see. For Hagee, Wendell, Reinhart. So that's their top line. Luostarinen, Bennett, Tkachuk. What the hell? Okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing is they can't really phone it in because Tampa is the team that they love to pick on. Like that. I mean, how I don't know how you get away with that. I mean, maybe these guys care so much about the Olympics that whatever, but I kind of feel like this is a all out type environment because of the fact that they are literally struggling to make the playoffs. I mean, they are a significant underdog to make the playoffs right now, and they need the win. So the top 9 obviously is fine. The fourth line, if you're saying Vilmanis killed someone, maybe he gets suspended, maybe he gets a slap on the wrist. Who knows? It's the NHL. But for Hagee, Lundell, Reinhart costs 17.4K. Luostarinen and Bennett, Tkachuk 16.3, and then I guess Greer, Rodriguez, Marchand is 12K. Greer just continues to exist on this sort of top 9, and he's minimum salary. So there's slight interest as a result of that. If Marchand is back, then I could see that working. I guess this was a revenge game, so maybe Marchand plays and then sits for rest. But the other guys, I suspect they're all good, all good to go here. Yeah. So give me, if I had to pick a line, give me Lusterine and Bennett Tkachuk.
I would definitely agree with that. That's where I'd go in this one. It is cheap. I mean, I feel like I mentioned this so many times, but fucking 7K Sam Reinhart still just sort of makes me quizzical. He almost had 30 goals at this point. He's, it feels like Florida is getting a lot of flack, and I get it. They're maybe going to miss the playoffs. It seems more and more likely by the day, and everyone's sort of pointing fingers in every direction. It's like Sam Reinhart's still been so fucking good. Like, he is just not a 7K player. But I also feel like Matt Tkachuk isn't a $6,900 player, and he's starting to look like himself again pretty quickly here. So I don't even mind playing both of them here and Bennett, and just saying that like all of the offense comes to the guys that we're going to play all the minutes. We kind of talked about it with Ottawa, and we're about to talk about it with Tampa. I think that's my interest here. I don't think you have to get cute with it. Verhaeghe's shooting, but not on either power play. Like, who really cares? Bolinskis has finally scored a goal on the power play and is whatever. But I think Tampa's very clearly the more interesting side of this coin. If you're down to move on over.
Yep. All right. Tampa side. Let's see any updates on any of their hurt guys in Tampa. I found it reassuring that Victor Hedman played like basically a full shift. So it seems like that outdoor game was a test run, and now he's good to go. All right. I don't see. Okay. Cirelli and Nick Paul are out till after the break. So yeah, this top line. Is there anyone else outside of the top line and Darren Raddysh that is remotely in play?
I mean, if you squint hard enough, you could make a case for Bjorkstrand. They said it last night on the broadcast. He has 9 goals on the year. How many of them came on the power play?
6.
8.
Huh. Not quite 6.
That doesn't leave many remaining that have not come on the power play. Yeah, the top line played a bazillion minutes. They shot 4,000 pucks, and they did all of the damage. The only other player, as I mentioned, that did anything with Bjorkstrand on the power play from the guys on the top line, and Darren Raddysh. Darren Raddysh continues to be Evan Bouchard-esque and is priced somewhat accordingly.
He is what Evan Bouchard aspires to be. Did you see the stat on the broadcast at one point where it was like number of 90-mile-an-hour shots?
98, yeah.
And he's at like 90, and Bouchard's at like 35 in second.
Yeah,
crazy.
He's. I mean, you watch them with the empty net, and it's like, who did they want to get the puck to shoot? It was not even a question. It was Darren Raddysh. It was like every single play they were trying to set up was to feed Darren Raddysh at the point.
Like, this was the thesis of last year. Last year, Stamkos leaves, and they're like, hey, we're going to put Raddysh on that power play wing. And we're all like, what the hell? Like, and then he misses every single one-timer. He can't do shit. And now this year, it's like, hey,
to score on the power play. And
so many times.
Never did. So many fucking times. That and Lindy Ruff to win to Jack Adams, pair that together, and you would have been
my god. That's
so
sickening.
Yeah. I also will say that I said something either before the podcast or during the podcast last time, but I asked Matt, who is the player in Underdog that has scored the most points that is 0% drafted? I mean, it just has to be Darren Raddysh.
If you have a Darren Raddysh share, please. Send us.
There's just no fucking way. He was projected to be like their 6th defenseman to start the year. It's unbelievable. I feel like the most frustrating thing is like, I didn't ride this to the top as much as you did. Like, I feel like you rode this right to the top, but were either of us really rewarded? I don't know. A lot of talk on Darren Raddysh, all to say that I think you just click all the buttons here or none of the buttons. Maybe, how about this? If you were going to leave off one of the core 4, who would you leave off?
Hagel.
Yeah, I think
doesn't feel great,
Hagel.
but yeah,
7,900 Hagel is just really getting to.
It's about where I get off the ride, I think.
Yeah, you got to jump up at some point. It feels bad, but I just can't. I just no way tomorrow I'm going to click on Hagel over Brady Tkachuk. It's not going to happen.
Okay, and to answer my own question, there is absolutely nobody outside of that top line that I'm even remotely considering for my lineups. Right. I know they're all cheap. They will play 16 minutes. It just doesn't matter.
Honestly, I think the answer is, like, if gun to head, it's not even Bjorkstrand, it's Yanni Gord, because he's going to play a lot at 3K, and he's going to take faceoffs because Gensel can't take faceoffs. So, like, you're going to see 20 plus minutes of Yanni Gord, and he's going to be on the ice with the top line sometimes. So, like, that's the answer, but it's bad, and you don't have to do it anyways.
All right. Tim, thanks for hanging out in the chat. There will be Olympic DFS. We don't know what it looks like or how big it will be or whatever, but at least that's what my rep told me like a month ago. So we are expecting there to be DFS, and obviously there should be props and betting and whatnot. So we'll talk more about that next week. We're going to do a Monday show covering the Olympics, but I'll get to that at the end of the podcast. And I've also mentioned it a few times now at this point. We have one more game, and then we will wrap things up. LA heads into Vegas. Is there reporting that confirms Panarin will be joining the team in Vegas, or is this like a after the break type thing? That is the real question.
Anybody in the chat? I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Panarin Vegas is not triggering anything, but
yeah, I'm looking it up right now. I don't see anything.
Okay. Per Mayor NHL, Panarin not expected to play tonight. Arrangements are underway for him to meet the Kings in Vegas tomorrow. Also, perhaps wearing number 27.
Interesting. He is on the slate. He is 7,900. And before he went out, I mean, he was shooting a ton. Maybe that just gets a little bit forgotten about here. I don't know. What do you have on the screen right now? Let's throw him in, right? I think you're probably, I don't know. I would put him with Fiala personally. I don't know. I'm not putting a hat on a hat.
So this would be Anze.
It's tough.
So, and then Quentin Byfield, and I guess Taylor Ward has to come out.
Someone's gotta. Yeah, I really don't know. This is tricky.
Okay.
And you know what though? The good news is for the Kings. You know what the good news is? They have a genius at the helm who's going to put together the perfect line combinations that are going to exemplify all the best attributes of all the players. So
the worst part of all of this too is that, like, I've been banging the drum that Vegas is a massive fraud for the last month. Like, they've been playing horribly. I mean, this is the absolute giga jam late hammer spot for 7,800 Artemi Panarin. So yeah, that is fun. In case you're listening, my best guess, we don't know anything. Kempe, Laferriere, Panarin, Fogle, Kopitar, Moore, Fiala, Byfield, Perry, Hellenius, between Kuzmenko and Armia. Actually, Corey Perry or Armia on that third line sort of would make sense. But that's what I think they'll wind up doing, because I think Panarin and Kempe are going to play together. Do they move Kopitar between them? Possibly. But we'll see. I mean, it could be Panarin with Fiala and Byfield, and that'll be their de facto top line. Like, we don't know. So try to keep an eye out. I don't know if he will even be part of Morning Skate, for example, if they do one. So it might just be a game time thing that there's nothing to swap to. There's nothing to swap around. So, it's just this game after the 7:30 window.
That's
7.
True.
Yeah, 7:30 for Florida Tampa. So,
there's one.
We'll see. We will see.
Yeah, no, this is wow. Vegas, they're both on a back-to-back. Yeah.
Yep.
both on a back-to-back. I don't know. I think I mean again I do lead the LA side, and I really like this kind of if Panarin is going to be in, I kind of like the ambiguity of it all.
Yeah, and is it possible that this helps Brandt Clark? Like their power play is still fairly dysfunctional, but he's been steadfastly on the top unit. Does Drew Doughty walk into the coach's office and demand to be on the top power play now that they have a good player? I don't know. Drew Doughty sucks out loud. Brandt Clark is very, very good. I hope Brandt Clark at 4,700 is a good play, but it's very hard for me to confidently tell you that will be the case. Anything else?
God, I don't know. I mean, I think if you're playing LA, I think it honestly gets you through the line that Panarin's on. I think it's going to be not very much considered. It's not going to factor in too much. We might not have good information given that he might not be there in time for a skate, but they're on a back-to-back. They're probably not going to skate. So you could be getting a combination that's incredibly under-owned to not owned. People are not going to be swapping. So it's kind of a rare situation where you're getting one of the best players in all of daily fantasy, albeit overpriced a little bit, potentially in a spot that no one's really going to have him in. I think I really like that side of the house quite a bit. Vegas is probably the best bad team I've ever seen in my life. There's so many good players on this team, including a defense that, Anderson, Theodore, Hannafin, like everything about this feels like it should be better. I believe McNabb was a possibility on Wednesday, so keep an eye out for that situation. But no,
he'll rejoin them after the break. Yep.
Okay, I thought they said something. Okay, maybe I misread something. I thought they were saying he was a chance, but guess not. Moral of the entire story here is you can't really game stack this game because it's so expensive, and I think you're kind of looking down one chute. But could you try? And if you're trying, could it be the Dorofeyev Marner?
That's pretty much all there is. I mean, Jack Eichel gets Ivan Barbashev and Alex Holtz. So
I don't think Holtz is on the top power play over Stone, unfortunately.
Dorofeyev. Well, yeah.
The Slappies are with he and Hall over it, but
all right. So yeah, I mean, Dorofeyev, Marner, Stone is their de facto top line because Jack Eichel gets to lug around these two idiots. $20K for that trio, and about 31 expected DK points and 33 actuals, so nowhere close to value, but they certainly have upside. If I touted Pittsburgh 1 as having 20K potential slate winning upside, so does this line. And they get to face off with a fucking donkey in Jim Hiller. So there you go. I don't know. I'm not playing Vegas whatsoever, so we can just move on to top stacks guarantee goals.
Double back-to-back is tough. I think this is definitely the slate to get crazy on, though. A ton of back-to-backs. Last game before a break. There's only, I mean, really, you know what? Let me ask you this right now, gun to head. What's the highest owned stack of the night right now? I feel like it maybe is Carolina 1, but that Tampa 1?
I'm gonna say it's fucking New Jersey again, dude. Like the projections are not gonna give up on these guys.
Yeah, you might be right. And I mean, Ottawa, I think, could see some ownership. Like we mentioned, they feel like a couple of really good plays. And then like the cheapish Buffalo guy, like that's sort of the obvious way to go. I think going all in on LA is really interesting. So I think I'm going to start with them. It's really whatever Panarin plays on, but I think I side with you that it's going to be with Adrian Kempe. So whatever it is, Panarin, Kempe, Brandt Clark, I think for me, I'm just going to call it at the top line there and
I dig it.
Be brave, be bold, and lose.
All right, I'm going to do Stützle, Brady, and Jake Sanderson. Another 20-ish K alpha stack against Philly. But I think building across the power play units is the way to go with Ottawa.
All right. Yeah, I think if you're going to get weird with LA, which I do not think is going to be popular at all, I don't think there's any reason that you couldn't get a bit chalkier. So I'm just going to go with the Buffalo, Zucker, Quinn, Darlene. So I'm going to include Darlene on it, but you could just go McLeod. So I'm just going to write Buffalo 3 down.
Okay.
And then you.
I will take Florida 2, Luostarinen, Bennett, Kachuk as my second stack. Sam Bennett, newly rejuvenated, having gotten his Olympic spot, but also these games are a penalty fest, and Bennett, Kachuk are the correlated power play one pieces, assuming Marchand's on the top unit. Now, if Marchand misses and Verhaeghe, Reinhart, Lindell is the line, I would expect one of those two to be on the top power play, so it might be a moot point. But for now, give me Bennett, Kachuk, and then I like Luostarinen, so 2,900 for him is just an obvious addition for me because I like the player.
Okay, last time out, I feel like we had really good goal bets and only one of them hit. You had I was it Sword have scored. I don't remember actually. I don't think Sword have scored, right?
Not a clue.
I'll check quickly because.
What else did you have? I'll look. He did not.
Sordiff did not. You had Svechnikov, Sordiff. Svechnikov had an assist, and that line all scored but him. I had Matty Nyes, Ultra Alpha Sharp. Matty Nyes, of course, scored. And Timo, Giga Chalk, Donkey Ass, Meyer. So tough fucking noodles for me. We get back on track, though. We get a 4 for 4. We head off into the break. Rich.
Wendy's 4 for 4.
Ready.
Let's go.
What has Hardy's got going on these days?
Let me grab Ricard Raquel. He's going to do it for you in person.
Wow. I'm going to be mad. Yeah, great.
He's going to punch the coworker he's with, or the client he's with out of anger.
It's more, I guess, honestly, it's like client. It's like I don't know. We kind of all help each other. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it works. You know what's funny is I like one of the things I really like to do is more or less I like to look at the expected actual the deviation who is being really unlucky. Timo and Raquel are two of the top guys, unsurprisingly for Timo because he is shooting a lot. I mean, again, unlucky or bad, it's up to you. But Raquel is right there as well, like a guy that just seems all around it and isn't being rewarded. I think those would be interesting guys. I am going to go. I am going to go with. I'm going to go Bo Horvat.
Bo Horvat. All right.
7,100.
Okay, so I have about 5K left. I'm going to leave $1,000 on the table and take Jonathan Marchessault.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great if you left $1,000 on the table and get right to my range? That'd be awesome. Good news for me. All right, Marchessault it is. Should have known. That is a DJ.
You couldn't technically do it anyway. You could not technically do it anyway.
Technically, I'm
3,900.
Off, so perfect. Perfect.
Fool.
All right. I mean, Jack Quinn, come on down. Game stack, Raquel Quinn, Marchessault Horvat.
Game stack, he was activate. And just like
Donkeys, he and Haw all at once.
It is time for the Olympic break. So best of luck on Thursday. We will be doing a podcast next Monday night, normalish time, about the Olympics. Hopefully by then we know more about what actually is being offered as far as DK contests, bets that are out there, tournament long bets, goals, assists, whatever, like all that stuff. Hopefully, we have some pretty deep offerings to dig into, not just, who's going to lead the tournament in goals, but who's the Denmark leading scorer going to be? All that sort of stuff is what we're going to nerd out on if possible. Also over my newsletter, moods.beehive.com, I will be posting an Olympic preview, trying to do mostly the same thing that the podcast will, but just going through each of the teams, my projected lineup or the lineup that we get, depending on when practices are, in, Italy, when we get those lines and whatnot. And I hope that you will check it out because I will put a lot of work into it this weekend. And I very much look forward to, playing guessing games on what the best way for the power plays of each of these teams is going to be and all that sort of fun stuff that I love to do on the newsletter. So moods.beehive.com, @fakemoods, and DJ, any last words?
What I am going to try to do, I have a couple people already. I'm going to try to get a list together of Olympic reporters from other countries and I guess really all countries, but a lot of it will be Canadian and American. Because man, like you're telling me, we got France and Switzerland on the 12th at I think that's the game that's at 3 or 2:30 in the morning or something. And you tell me that I can bet my money on that? I mean, come on. I need to get into this. So yeah, right now you go to the market, there's top goal scorers, there's top point scorers. You go down, you scroll into this. I mean, Switzerland.
DJ, we got to go.
Yeah, we got to. I mean, I am going to have so much fun here, and I can't wait.
Okay, well, we will have fun next week, so stay tuned for that. All right, thank you all for listening. From Doug, from DJ, from myself, have a great Olympic break, everybody, and we will see ya.
You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.